And hello and welcome back to Chaos Child. Last time, we learned more about the wibbly wobbly woobly woobly. I forget exactly. Did they call it something? Did they call the phenomena? Did they give some name to the general phenomenon? I don't remember if they did, because they had a name for the people. I don't think they had a name for the phenomenon itself. Okay, well, whatever. Let's just get into it. This is the scene where Takeru gets caught masturbating by Serika. Definitely. I finally calmed down, so when I suddenly heard a loud voice next to me, I jumped up again. Why do I never lock my door? I recognize the voice, but I still fearfully turn around. Why do I never lock the fucking motherfucking door? I suddenly felt so tired that I almost dropped straight to the ground. But managed to stop myself.
いきなり何なんだよお前は。
それは私が言いたいよ。タクってば外に聞こえるくらい大きな声出して、近所のみんなびっくりしてるよ。
今のはその発声練習だ。
本当に？
Don't you believe that? Don't you? Oh no. Serika looked at me, worried, with eyes of pity.
でもタク、顔が真っ青、ひどい汗だし。
Serika took a handkerchief out of her pocket, tried to wipe away my sweat.
いいよ、自分でやるから。
I grabbed the handkerchief from her and scrubbed the sweat off my forehead.
これ、明日洗って返すから。
気にしなくて OK だよ。タクの汗だったら汚いとか思わないし。
What a weird set of sentences.
少しは気にしろよ。で、こんな時間に何の用だ？
I put the handkerchief in my pocket. Her face took on a much more serious expression than usual as she slowly began to talk.
のんちゃんの話をね、聞いてあげてほしいの。
クルスの？今から？
のんちゃんはね、明日でいいって、学校が終わったら青葉寮に来てほしいって言ってるけど、でも本当はタクにすぐにでも聞いてほしいんじゃないかなって思うんだ。
そんなに大事なことなのか？
うん、私が話しちゃってもいいんだけど、のんちゃん自分でお話ししたいって。
そうか。
Serika never took anything this seriously. Must have been something very important.
わかった。これから青葉寮へ行ってみる。
オッケー。さすがタク、優しいね。
Mm-hmm. Such a nice person. She grinned and giggled a little, then grabbed the handkerchief out of my pocket.
いいからいいから、タクの汗の匂いをじっくり堪能するんだ。
Why am I recording this at 4 in the morning? I just got up. It was like 4. It's like, yeah, let's just record it now. Well, this is not something I can properly handle at 4 in the morning.
やめろよ。
それじゃあまた明日。
Alright, no, I was gonna say, is she teasing me? Nope, she's got a little bit of a blush going there. Unless it's the 4 o'clock in the morning fever dream that's making me hallucinate a little red on that. She squeezed her girl Froggy, strapped to say goodbye, and spun around and left the RV.
ったく
That's a way to flirt. Wipe off your sweat? Nah, your sweat's not dirty. I mean, enjoy the smell. I gotta be honest. Taking that outside of the... It's basically anime and you don't take that stuff too seriously. That would be really creepy if that happened in real life. I watched her go until I was out of the park.
クルスの大切な話
Since she's gone, I tried to think. What could she want? Did it have something to do with what happened? The idea scared me a little, so I got ready as soon as I could and left the RV. I heard down the usual route I took to the Albadorm, but...
Huh?
Oh, that... can't be good. Something was different. Something wasn't the same as it had been before. Something was wrong. I just come by this path on the way from school, but... So what was the strange, dissonant feeling? The walls, the fences, the streetlights, stickers were staring at me from all directions. Okay, we need to leave and not live here anymore for a while. And all of them were real, not one of them was fake. It was that eerie. 11th such image. The scenery in front of me suddenly warped and twisted. I'm on view. I drank coming back up my throat, and I tried my best to keep it down.
やめろ見るなよ僕を見るな僕は能力者なんかじゃないお前たちに狙われることなんてないんだ
Weird thing to yell, but okay. No, even if Arimura and Lab were right, and I did have some kind of power, something tiny little power which I couldn't master and wasn't even good for anything.
だから僕なんか狙っても意味ないんだよやめてくれよ
I heard a strange voice from somewhere. Like a cat in heat. No, this was... It was the sound of a baby crying? But I doubt there are any babies in this park. So what was that voice? And then... all the stickers that were staring at me smiled. And then slowly... slowly... their eyes... opened. I ran as fast as I could, not caring where I went. I just need to escape from that 11th Berserk somehow. But... no matter where I went... no matter where I went... Here Here. Here. There's so many of them. There really this many super stickers in Shibuya. Oh, I never noticed before.
やめろやめろやめろやめろやめろやめて
I'm thinking. The giggling's interesting. That feels telling. No matter where I went, it's like they're following me. I assume he's... I assume that's basically a delusion. I had no idea how long I'd been running from those phantoms of the sumo stickers. But no matter where I ran, the whole Shibuya was covered in sumo stickers. Each time I saw one, I felt sick, dizzy, as if I was going to throw up. Add that to the exhaustion from running, and I was barely able to stand. And just when I reached the conclusion that there was nowhere left in Shibuya for me to rest anymore. I saw a silhouette, crouched in an alley. It was a person clutching their arms around the tiny body. They looked like a stray cat. It was so different from the girl I was used to that at first I thought I must be mistaken. Is it... Oh. That is the last person I expect. Well, I suppose Lapcoat might have been farther down that list, but still. But when she looked up, I saw that it was her.
Harimura.
Miyashiro senpai.
You okay?
何してるんだよ。こんなところで。
Oh, not that I really want to talk at the moment.
ちょっと気分が悪くて、あれのせいで。
Oh, is it hitting everyone like that? Arimura pointed behind her, but didn't turn around. That was enough to tell me what she was pointing at.
力士シールか。
そっか。先輩も
Interesting.
先輩もひどい顔してる。ダメなんでしょあれ。
違う。僕は。
I didn't want to admit it. If I admitted it, it would mean that I had a special power like Arimura and that my life would be in danger. That would mean that instead of me going after the case would be coming after me.
なんだか急に数が増えたと思いませんあれ。
Arimura's voice was so soft that it was hard to hear her.
今テレビなんかでも話題になってるから長尺度まで寄ってたかって張りまくってるんだきっと。
Even the correct ones?
しかも偽物だけじゃなくて本物のシールまで。迷惑です。
まったくだ。そういう連中はすぐに飽きるとは思うけど。
だといいんですけど。
とりあえず青葉院へ行こう。僕やクルスが育った養護施設だ。そこなら診察室があるから具合が悪くても休める。
はい、すみません。
立てるか。
それくらいはできます。
She forced herself to smile, and then ignored my outstretched hand and stood up on her own. Getting to Abadorum was a miserable experience. I could feel the influence of the sumo stickers increasing with every step I took.
大丈夫。
はい。
Or so she said, but she didn't look good. I wasn't in a position to be worrying about anyone else either.
青葉寮へ。
That was one thought that drove me forward. But suddenly, hello, random person in the background that's not been relevant up to this point, but we've seen a little bit. Interesting. Are you going to stab me? It feels like you might stab me. She appeared before us. A woman. It was a woman. It was a woman with a strange presence. We'd been on one of Shibuya's typically crowded streets. I doubt I ever would have noticed her. But on this very empty street, she was impossible to miss. Her long hair covered most of her face, and with the streetlight to her back, I couldn't read her expression at all. But I could see the strange hungry light that shone from her eyes through the thick hair that otherwise concealed her features. It was a dark light, one that somehow brought a deeper blackness, not illumination.
Senpai.
Arimura's voice was shaking. She'd realized how strange the woman was, too. And then, my eyes met hers. And that next instant, she laughed. Or so it seemed to me. Her laugh was empty, but at the same time somehow satisfied. It was a laugh like evil itself, and it was like nothing I'd ever heard before in my life. And then, in a raspy, unpleasant voice, she spoke.
Mitsukeita.
Fun, fun, fun. Found who?
この女、
Which one of us?
やばい。
Alarm bells went off in my mind.
やばい。絶対やばい。やばい。やばい。やばい。
My knees started to buckle. My instincts told me that she was dangerous. I remember staring at the woman, not moving a muscle. No, she probably couldn't have moved, even if she had wanted to. It's like we were paralyzed. Oh my goodness. If this turns out to be basically like... You know that SpongeBob episode where they're like running from like this really intimidating person? And they're like, oh my goodness, they want to beat us up! Or something like that. And then when he finally catches them, it's like, here, you dropped your thing. And it's like, what if she gives us our phone back?
Senpai. あの人。
I don't know, but if she has my phone and hands it back to me as like a joke, I would totally just, I'll drink the rest of my milk. Let's say that. I'm trying to think of something I can commit to because it doesn't seem that unlikely even. Arimura barely got out the words.
多分能力者です。
A psychic. I didn't want to admit it. But just looking at the woman in front of me was enough to dash all my hopes.
能力者は本当にいるんだ。
This woman. Her very existence was enough to make me believe.
有村。
なんですか。
あの女の能力ってのはどんな。
I didn't know about any of the Gigalomaniac's powers besides Arimura. But from what I'd seen so far, some of them were a lot more dangerous than the ability to tell when someone was telling the truth. There had to be more types, for instance. Ones that could be used as weapons. I guess we do have the sword things. We'll see exactly how viable those are as weapons. And there was no doubt in my mind that this woman had that sort of power.
くそ。こんなことならちゃんと調べておくべきだった。
It didn't matter whether I believed it or not. How could I not have the information I needed at a time like this?
有村。
そんなの にもわかりません。テレパシーなのか、プレコグニションなのか、クレアボヤンスなのか。ただ
Arimura's eyes were fixed on a single point. She probably couldn't look away.
あの人の能力はもっと危険な、人に害を与える力だと。
Well, we heard about arson cases before, so that's my guess. The woman started walking sluggishly towards us. Slowly, slowly. I finally realized that the reason she seemed to be off balance as she walked was that she was dragging one leg. Maybe she'd injured it, or maybe it never worked right. She approached us one step at a time, as if enjoying our fear. She took another step. A horrible smile was frozen on her face. Her eyes were looking straight at us, as if she didn't want to let her prey escape. Is she looking for one of us specifically, or...
逃げなきゃダメだ。
Is she looking for one of us specifically, or... But my body wouldn't move. Or is she just looking for other psychics? My body had turned to stone, as if I'd been stared at by Medusa. Oh, maybe that's her power. And then suddenly the wind blew. The woman's long hair flew up. And I could see just a little of her face. Arimura gasped. Oh, wait. You don't think that's... The woman had been terribly burnt. Didn't the, so-and-so and so-and-so from, the picture we saw of, No-Nos have pink hair? I'm trying to remember. It's been a little bit. The woman had been terribly burnt. Her face was covered in horrible burn scars. Well, I imagine if you could, like, incite flames with your mind, you're gonna eventually burn yourself, at least. The smile disappeared from her face. Instead, it was replaced by rage. There was nothing there but burning rage in the color of anger. She slowly brought her hands up and then pushed them out towards us. There it is.
Senpai!
Arimura screamed and pulled my hand as hard as she could. A pillar of flame sprung up right where I was standing. There's a blast of heat and the awful stink of burning asphalt. A burning pain ran down through my cheek as the heat struck it.
今
パイロキネシス!
She waved her arm, and in the next moment, the space in front of me was a sea of crimson flames. Arimura and I tried our best to get away from the fire.
パイロキネシスって
I knew that meant the ability to create fire. If I remembered right, it was a word created by a famous novelist. I don't think that matters right now. All over the world, there are several records of unexplained fires breaking out for no clear reason. Spontaneous human combustion, where a human would suddenly burst into flame, was one form those incidents took. Of course, spontaneous human combustion was considered pseudoscience, as most scientists believe those incidents were actually caused by static electricity or EM waves. And now real pyrokinesis is happening right in front of me.
先輩、何ボケっとしてるんですか?
Why am I standing here? I'm thinking about the historical implications of me getting burned to death by someone with their mind. The next thing I knew, the woman was stretching her hand out towards me. I rode along the ground with Arimura. At almost the exact same moment, the fire exploded outward. The smell of burning hair stung my nostrils.
髪の毛が
言ってる場合か
We kept moving away, only barely dodging the burning flames. Pillar after pillar of fire appeared before us, or behind us. It looked like the flames had spread to a bike and some garbage that were lying by the roadside, but I didn't have time to check. The woman was getting closer, dragging her leg as she walked.
有村
I tried to grab her hand and run, but a fire appeared right in front of us, and as we tried to dodge it, we both lost our balance and fell to the ground. The planter next to us was on fire. I looked up as the footsteps got closer and saw that the woman was right on top of us. That, what was going through my mind as I lay there, frozen in terror. This wasn't an anime or a movie. This was a visual novel or reality. The pain from where I hit my leg when I fell, the pain from the burns, all these flames, the smell of melted asphalt. It was all real. Labcoat had said that the Giglomaniac's power came from delusions. And not just any delusions. These delusions affected the brains of others, and through being shared, they became reality.
物理現象すらねじ曲げるんだよ。だからこそ、それは。
Yes, and because of that, impossible pyrokinesis was happening right in front of me. And that power was going to kill me and Arimura. Delusional flames would become reality, and in that reality, we were going to burn to death. Oh boy. The woman slowly pointed her hand towards us. Maybe I was imagining it. The air around me seemed to grow hotter.
Yeah.
Maybe you're imagining it and it's making it real. I don't want to die. I don't want to be roasted to death by these flames. No, I don't want to die. I still... A bigger spiral frame than any we've seen before appeared before us. But at the same time... something strange appeared in the corner of my eye. Frighteningly sharp, but frighteningly fragile. Infinite and finite. Phantasmal and real. Like all the ugliness and beauty in the world had been compressed into one object. It was a sword. It was clearly different shape than Arimura's, but still, I could see it. Since I didn't know how to draw it, I just desperately struck the woman with every delusion I could muster. I imagined the sword slicing through her flames, and flung that image at her with my imagination. The burning fangs that threatened to engulf the two of us exploded. And then the fire danced like a snake. It flew in a straight line towards the woman who had created it. The fire turned into a spiral that leapt at her. She fell over in shock.
先輩、今の。
Was that my power? Well, I hadn't been looking. The D sword vanished from my vision.
先輩、今のうちに逃げ。
Arimura suddenly fell silent. I turned to see what she was looking at. As the air rippled from the smoke and heat of the flames, I'm gonna guess she's burning alive. Or? The woman slowly stood up. I didn't think she was heat-proof, but I guess I don't know, she might be able to make herself at this point. Not clearly always, but I guessed with the color of her eyes. Fire had been there a moment ago. The fire that had been there a moment ago was gone. The light that burned with hatred was gone. There's only ice. Her eyes were ice, frozen, emotionless, and piercing. Arimura and I couldn't move. Slowly, with an unsteady rhythm, the woman approached us. And then stopped a few steps away. Smoke was rising off a garbage bin behind us. The planter by our side was making crackling noises from the heat. There was nowhere to run before us, behind us, or anywhere else. I couldn't even hear the bustle of the town, but the beating of my heart sounded even louder. The sound of my saliva running down my throat, the sound of my breathing, the sound of my blood flowing. All of those sounds offered proof that I was still alive, but soon they would be gone. They would all disappear inside the burning flames. My legs shook. My eyes blurred with tears. I could barely speak. But the woman's expression didn't change, not even a little. And as she raised her hand towards me, I closed my eyes. I was going to. Huh? I slowly opened my eyes. Fast theory, she saw the sword and was like, no, that's actually not who I'm looking for. Or something like that. And then the woman was gone. Was I saved? All the strength drained from my body and I collapsed to the ground. I thought I was a goner. I thought that she would kill me for sure. No, until a moment ago she definitely was going to kill me. I could tell from her eyes. They were cold without a trace of doubt, uncertainty, or hesitation. So, why had she suddenly disappeared? Again, I guess my theory is she saw the sword and was like, shit, this isn't actually who I'm looking for. Or something like that. I guess the question is why she attacked in the first place, the whole found you part. So, I need to maybe look at that picture again. But if we go on the general idea theory that it's that girl that he saw when he was a kid, well, if she's out and about doing stuff still, Nono might think she's dead, but, you know, who knows? If she's wandering around as just a half-burned victim, like this, I could easily imagine people thinking she's dead. I need to see that again to see if it's actually the right color, if I'm remembering that correctly. But I could half imagine some semblance of ability to recognize him from when he was a kid, though it has been a while, so I don't know. And hello and welcome back to Chaos Child. Why am I saying that? No, I got interrupted and I ended up taking like an hour, 2-hour break or so before I came back to it. Just as part of that. But here we are. Let's just. What am I saying? Yeah. So that girl just left. Yeah, no, my best guess is that. Oh, what was it? That she's that so-and-so girl from the flashback, and she's. I'm trying to remember exact, because the implication was. Actually, wasn't the implication that she was. The implication would be that she's our age, right? Because of No-No and whatnot being friends. So, like, that person in the flashback legitimately was their age at the time. And she did sort of look like she could be that age. And that's why I was thinking, like, is that Serika? Or something like that. So that definitely was an element to it previously. I looked up and saw Arimura standing there, staring at a spot where the woman had disappeared. Did she disappear, or did you just hold your eyes closed as she walk away?
先輩。
どうしたんだ、有村。もしかして、まだ何か。
そうじゃないんです。ただ。怖くて、動けない。
It's okay.
ここですか？
とりあえず、ここなら平気だと思う。
After the attack by the pyrokinetic woman, I'd finally fled with Arimura to Alba Dorm. I could probably get treatment for my burns here. Oh, did we end up, I guess it was getting close to us. Did we actually get burned in the end?
閉まってるか。
It should, I suppose. What time is it? Oh, to 7 p.m. Wait, what? Is going on Friday and Saturday, p.m. 5 to 7. What? So it's saying it closes for 3 hours midday? Okay. That's a weird schedule. I mean, I get lunch breaks. But that is interesting. 3 hours? Huh. So the front door was locked. I've been so busy that I'd forgotten how late it was.
鍵、まだ隠してあるといいけど。
I've been given a key to the dorm, but I usually didn't carry it around with me. When I lived here, there's a spare key hidden on the grounds. I decided to look for it.
あった。
Fortunately, the key was right where I remembered it. Part of me thought that it wasn't a good idea to leave it in the same place all the time, but today I was grateful. As I went into the exam room, Arimura still stood hesitantly by the entrance. I motioned for her to sit in the exam chair.
その、怪我の治療だけど。
ご心配なく、これくらいなら自分でできますから。
そう。
Good. I got a little used to it, but I still didn't like the idea of her of touching her skin.
ああ、消毒液とかこれ使って。
I got some medicine, some cotton wool, and some adhesive bandages off the shelf and handed them to her. Since this was a clinic, a lot of the medicines here were used by professionals, but they were labeled in clearly written Japanese, so there's no way I could screw them up. Well, every time a new drug came in, it was Chris's job to make the label and stick it on. She always said that if she didn't, Yui, Yudo, and I might take some by accident. She'd always been the type to worry about things like that. I'd always been told to make sure to straighten my shoes when I took them off, or not to put my socks in the laundry inside out. That's a thing. I've never been told that in my life. Well, the straightened shoes is more... I don't think I've ever been told that, but it's like sort of common sense. But socks inside out, I guess it wouldn't clean necessarily as well. I never really thought about that one before. She made me help with a lot of the cooking too, didn't she?
って何考えてんだ僕は。
I shook my head, shocked that I was thinking about those things when something much more important was going on.
宮代先輩はここでクルス先輩たちと一緒に暮らしてるんですか？
The disinfectant must have stung because she was wincing.
暮らしてたんだよ。少し前まで。
じゃあ今は？
今は別の場所で一人で暮らしてる。
一人暮らしですか。いいですね。
Ooh, where do you live then? You sort of seem like the sort that would be off on your own.
まあね。有村は？
Then again, I know high school students, that's probably less likely than I give it credit for, but I guess given her powers, she sort of felt like she might be on her own, I guess. I didn't really meant anything by it. That was just where the conversation was leading.
知りたいですか？
あ、いや、言いたくないならいいんだけど。
いいですよ、別にそれくらい。私は親戚の家で暮らしてます。実家ちょっと遠いので。
Interesting.
そうか。
If she was jealous of me living alone, did that mean that she wasn't getting along with her relatives? Well, probably not well enough, at least.
あ、言っておきますけど、別に親戚の家でいじめられてるとか、そういう昭和のドラマみたいなことはないですから。
Gabe's just like, no, we're not going for that trope. FYI.
え？
いえ、変に誤解されても嫌だなと思って。
別に誤解なんてしてない。
やっぱり思ってたんですね。
No. I mean, not getting along doesn't mean abused. It just means not getting along. That's right. She had that power. Which means she probably didn't get along with a lot of people. Because most people lie flagrantly in little ways. Having her know if I was telling the truth or not made things difficult.
でも
It was probably difficult for Arima herself to know what someone was really thinking, whether she wanted to or not. Sort of explain how she acted at school. Unless she kept things on a superficial level, acting like a goofball and telling jokes, she'd know what everyone really felt, and it would crush her.
はい、終わりました。先輩もどうぞ。
Since Arima seemed to have finished, I sat down in a chair to take care of my own injuries. And at the same time, the door in the back softly opened.
誰？タクル？
Are you out of bed?
Oh
boy. Oh no. I'd hoped that Kurusu would be asleep. No, I'd actually come here to talk to her about something important. But after the pyrokinetics attack, I decided against it. Maybe. Might be a good idea at this point. To put it off a little bit. If she saw me injured like this, she would have worried, so I plan to talk to her tomorrow instead.
何か音が聞こえるから気になって。こんな時間にどうし...
And then she realized that there was another girl in the room.
有村さん?
Hello! This is probably awkward, especially considering I sort of get the feeling that your main association with her is the idea of me that I'm gonna die. So, yeah.
お邪魔してまーす。
違うんだこれは。
What do you think it looks like, even? Two people in a hospital room treating injuries. What, you think they... What, Kurusu, do you think they were having mad hot sex on the asphalt somewhere and needs to come to disinfect the wounds they had from all the freaking rubbing up against the asphalt? Fucking no. I wasn't out... I wasn't out on some kind of weird late night date with her. And then we got into a big fight where both of us got hurt. Oh, that's so much more mundane than my theory. Okay. Before I could say something that would probably only make her more suspicious, Kurusu saw us both and went pale.
二人とも怪我してるじゃない。
これは
I knew this was coming. Her own injury hadn't healed yet, and so when I saw how worried and she looked, it pricked at my heart.
貸して。
え
手当て必要なんでしょ？いいから貸しなさい。
あ
Kirsty grabbed the medicines I was carrying and started to patch me up.
いやいや、もう大丈夫っすよ。私はもう自分で。そんな適当な処置じゃダメ。後になったらどうするの？でもは聞きません。わかったわね。はい。
So quickly corralled. Kirsty's no-nonsense attitude was enough to overwhelm Arimura. She sat still and let Kirsty do whatever she wanted. When she was finished, she started on me.
で、何があったの？
ああ、それは
Explanations. How much did Serika tell you? What was I supposed to tell her?
できるだけ驚かさないように伝えるべきなんだろうけれど。
私たち、襲われたんです。
ってストレートすぎるだろ、有村。
But it's also true. If you try to dance around it, then... I don't know. If you're worrying about someone worrying, then dancing around it isn't necessarily going to be an improvement. Arimura came straight out and told her what I was, while I was hesitating.
襲われた？はい。炎を操る力を持った女に。
Okay. Do you know if she knows? Kurusu's expression started to cloud over.
だから有村、余計なこと言うなよ。
I glared at her, but Arimura just shook her head.
こういう時は、変に隠すとかえって嘘っぽくなるんですよ、先輩。相手にも余計な心配をかけます。
え？
Yeah, that's sort of what I was thinking.
つーか、宮代先輩の嘘って私の能力なんかなくても分かりやすいですし。有村さんの言う通りだわ。ちゃんと話して。
I guess I didn't have a choice. I said what she said. I told Kurusu what just had happened, carefully choosing my words to not scare her. While I spoke, I had flashbacks to the terror I felt during the attack, and my voice started to shake, but I couldn't help then.
ということで、理由は僕たちにもわからないんだ。でも、あの女は間違いなく僕たちを狙ってきた。
And then gone, which was the most notable thing about it. The beginning and the end, I think, were... Everything I said sounded unrealistic, even to me, but Kurusu intently listened to every word. She just sat there and listened.
宮代先輩。
Arimura suddenly looked at me and spoke.
見えますか、それ。
Say what? Only then did I realize... Ooh. I've been so busy talking that I hadn't noticed, but something had appeared in the corner of my vision.
これは...
When I remembered the terror I felt during the attack, had it brought this back as well? There's no mistaking it.
ディソード
Whisper the words to myself to try to visualize it more clearly. And then... hazy, indistinct image began to take shape. Reached out my hand towards the bizarre object, but...
なんだこれどういうことだ
for some reason I couldn't touch it.
タクル？何をしているの？
剣があるんだここに
Okay, I really hope she's been at least told what we learned before, because this sounds particularly crazy.
剣？やっぱり出せるようになったんですね。自分のディソード。
Arimura said.
自分の
はい。それが先輩のディソードですよ。ディソード。
An illusory sword that could only be seen with the power to make delusions real.
僕はやっぱり能力者なのか
だからずっと言ってるじゃないですか。そうだって。
じゃあさっきの女あれはやっぱり僕を
だと思います。私を狙った可能性ももちろんありますけど。
What I've been afraid of had become real. That woman, her eyes, her appearance, and her flames. The burn marks on our bodies told me that this wasn't a dream, it was real. At this rate, I would be killed, like the victims in Don't Look at Me in Revolving Dead.
どうして
Why was this happening to me?
有村さん。
Kurisu suddenly interrupted our conversation.
なんでしょう。あなたの知っていること、全部私に教えて。どうしてですか？誰が何のためにこんな事件を起こしているのか調べるの。
Oh boy, okay, well, okay.
おい
Stunned, I leaned in towards Kurisu.
お前事件には関わるなってずっと言って
Well, you're already involved, technically.
でももう遅いんでしょ？この先もタクルや有村さんが狙われるかもしれないのよね。
クルス
I noticed earlier that something seemed a little strange about Kurisu. She told me so many times not to get involved in anything dangerous that I was sure when I told her what had happened tonight, she'd freak out. That's why even when I fled here, I still hadn't wanted to see her. But after I told her, instead of looking angry or raising her voice, her expression was firm and resolved. Is this just me? No, that's fine.
あのね、タクル。セリカから聞いてるかもしれないけど、話しておきたいことがあるの。
ああ
実は私、あなたに言ってないことがあって。
言ってないこと
I've had a sudden pain in my heart. Her words remind me of last time when I was told my parents were murdered. When I found out the family rule at Alba Dorm, that nobody kept secrets didn't apply to me, just everyone else. When I found out I was the one person who's different from the rest of my family. And I knew Kurisu remembered it too. She had almost brought herself to the verge of saying something, but her memories came back and stopped her. She kept opening and closing her mouth only to fall silent. I almost never saw her like that.
クルス僕なら大丈夫だ
Balled my hands tightly into fists, as if I was trying to tell this to myself too.
今の僕はあの時とは違うよ多分だから聞かせてくれ
タクル。
Was I just imagining things, or did Kurisu's eyes get a little wet? Okay. I mean, out of what she could say, it feels like it has to do with her past and that, what was it, Mimi Mizawa or something like that? I forget. I couldn't bear to look at her, so I continued.
とにかく、言ってないことってのを聞かないと、何が何だかわかんないだろ。
そうね。そうよね。ごめんなさい。
And then she slowly started to speak. This is what she said.
今度の事件、私は無関係じゃないの。
That is not what I expected, unless she's going to lead that into the other thing. If she is going to lead that into the other thing, then that's a very much not the best way to phrase it. Because that gives the wrong implications right off the bat. I never expected that. Kurusu was involved in the case. What did she mean?
この前、あなたたちが忍び込んだっていう病院ね。
AH 東京総合病院。
ええ、その病院の地下のこと。私、前から知っていた。
は？
I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It was so sudden and surprising that I couldn't even follow it. The basement under AH Tokyo General Hospital. She knew about the terrifying place. Why? How?
昔、千里がね。南沢千里のことよ。
南沢千里？
I had to stop myself from reaching out and grabbing her by the shoulders.
どうして彼女？
それは、ね。
Kurusu paused and looked away. And then she showed me the phone in her hands.
これよ。
There's a picture on the phone. Oh, what was that girl's eye color? The one that attacked us. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. A happy, smiling boy and two girls. If she does look distinctly similar, because they're not so much younger that they look visually like you wouldn't be able to recognize them nowadays. Then again, maybe with the whole, like, vastly longer hair, burn marks, and all that sort of stuff, there might be an element to it where it's like, oh, she looks so different as a result or something like that. A happily smiling boy and two girls. The picture was old, but I recognized one of the girls as Kurusu, and the boy is Kawahara. And there was a girl with them who had very gloomy eyes. It was, without a doubt, the girl whose data I'd seen in the facility. The one called Minawisawa Senrei.
そうか。思い出した。南沢って名前、どこかで聞いたことがあると思ったんだ。
It was during the culture festival. Kawahara had said... Oh, did he?
特に。俺とあともう一人。
Oh, I didn't even remember that.
川原くんが言ってた。南沢って子が一緒だったって。
そう。この写真を撮った頃の私たちはいつも一緒に遊んでいたのよ。
Minawisawa Senrei, who had been subjected to those awful human experiments, used to be Kurusu's friend, and to the point that they were aware of the basement's existence.
千里はね、毎週日曜日にあの病院に通っていたわ。
じゃあ、クルスは
She went to the hospital. She wasn't, like, kidnapped and kept down there? The back of my throat had gone dry and hurt terribly.
クルスはあそこで何が行われていたのかも。
Kurusu bit her lip and slowly nodded.
当時子供だった私にはどうしようもなかったの。それが悔しくて悲しくて。
Kurusu looked down. Her face was twisted with pain, as if she was being tortured. She was a girl with a strong sense of right and wrong. Knowing that her friend was being experimented on must have been terrible for her. Did Kurusu maybe go through the same trauma that I did?
でも今はもう子供じゃない。逃げるわけにはいかないわ。私も事件のことを知っておかなきゃいけない。そうじゃないと誰も守れない。
クルス。
有村さん、お願い。全部教えて。
How about you tell us what you're doing in that hotel room? You know, we've gotten a bit more to know her quite a bit better, but we still don't have any explanation as to why the fuck she was there. I guess the only explanation I have might be that because she said she didn't remember that someone was possessing her or someone was controlling her in a different way. Was that really the right thing to do? I put Kurusu in danger before. Oh, and then there's the fact that there's people walking around with a sumo sticker mask, isn't it? That's going to be relevant at some point. That feels like that has really fallen into the background. I put Kurusu in danger before. Now sending her down a dangerous path again.
仕方ないですね。
待ってくれ、有村。
Well, she's making that choice. So... I tried to stop Arimura, but Kurusu cut me off.
ねえ、タクル。今日あなたたちに怪我をさせたのが誰なのか、それはわからないわ。けど、また襲ってくる可能性があるんでしょ？何も知らないままじゃ、私は何もしてあげられない。ただうろたえるだけで何もできない。そんなの嫌なのよ。だから、全部聞かせて。私にも。羨ましいですね。あ、いえ、なんでもないです。で、クルス先輩に話しちゃってもいいんですか？
I slowly nodded.
でも有村、クルスを巻き込む前に一つだけ聞いてもいいか？
私にですか？
僕はお前のことまだよくわからない。正直信じていいのかどうかも。
なるほど、そうでしょうね。
でもなんていうか、今は悪いやつじゃないような気がしてるんだ。だから聞いておきたいんだけど。
Yeah, that's the thing about her. She seemed early on like she might be part of some group, essentially. Like maybe the people that are manipulating the situation. That arsonist does not seem to be part of whatever group that might be, so that could be the case still. But her being so impacted by the sumo stickers being put up and stuff like that feels like it might be indicative of otherwise. And she seems like a good person, but yeah, there is a lot of shit we don't know about her.
だから、何をです？
お前は少なくとも、僕らの敵じゃないんだよな。お前のせいで、僕の大事な誰かが死んだりしないよな。
That is not a great thing to hesitate on the answer for. Arimura thought for a moment as she looked at me and Kurusu in turn. And then...
まあ、さっきは宮代先輩に助けてもらいましたし、恩をあだで返すってのもどうかと思うんで、誓っときます。
So that would have been a possibility otherwise? Okay, now I'm really curious what's going on with you.
私のことは、先輩たちの味方だと思ってて問題ないですよ。
そっか。
おっと、ただしベタベタ慣れ合ったりするのとか大嫌いなんで、その辺はよろしく。
And then she smiled just a little. That may have been the first time I'd seen a real smile from her. October 12th, 2015, Monday. Okay, well, that probably makes for a decent stopping point. Interesting, 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 interesting. Again, I don't know. That response, like if you wanted to clear away my doubts, that undoubtedly was not a response that would do that. It was a little quirky. Maybe it can be trusted. And if she was really up to no good, she probably would have just lied outright in a way that would have tried to clear up my doubts. So that's also a weird way of interpreting that. But more than anything, I'm curious what she was doing at the hotel leading up to it or anything else like that. Like I said before, for someone who's able to tell lies and truths and stuff like that, there's an element to her that you start trusting her whole thing to be that she's telling the truth. Because, like, she's a lie detector. That's, you know, it's like her whole thing is about telling truths and stuff like that. Where she feels like someone you could easily have just constantly telling truths and stuff like that, but then sneaking in a strategic lie here and there, that sort of thing. I don't know. She seems nice, though. So if I get killed by her, at least I'll be a nice girl. That killed me. Okay, well, I'm going to leave it there. So, I will see you all next time. Drive safely, everyone.